This is Harry Clevin talking about the Ohio State Michigan game. The Michigan Wolverines, underdogs, 23 and a half points, goes to Ohio and pulls out a 13-10 win, upsetting Ohio State. Further upsetting Ohio State by planting a flag in the middle of the field. Brawl breaks out. Police. There's a lot of police. Nobody cares. No football players care. They're going at it. Seems to calm down a little bit. The number 33, forget his name, who made the interception, and I'll backtrack and talk about that a little bit, has the moxie to go up and rip the Michigan Wolverine flag off of the stick and whip it down. I laugh a little bit because I'm impressed with that part of it. But, and it says my battery's getting low, so I need to plug in here. I need to plug in. One momento. All right, we should be good. You may see occasionally a cat named Marybelle flying around like a banshee. I got this a little bit to help control her a little bit, but she's going to have a fun day, I imagine. But, anyways, going back to the game and the brawl, I believe that the coaches, before the game even started, should have their players under control where knowing that this is a rivalry that is the best rivalry. It's like the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. There is a lot at stake every single year in this. Last year, basically who was going to win had a chance at winning the title. This year, Ohio State had an opportunity to keep winning. They had a 10-1 record, 23 and a half point favorite in Ohio. And Michigan, who had lost their quarterback to the NFL, their coach to the NFL, Jim Harbaugh, and basically totally reconstructing this year. Throughout the whole year, it's been a circus of finding out who our quarterback's going to be. Where's she at? Where's that cat at? Is she up there? Where's she at? Anyways, so we have this. The Wolverines coming into Ohio and playing the spoiler. Basically, all but ending Ohio State's chance of winning a national title. Now, a few things could fall their way and they might be able to get in, but the chances are likely. And it reminds me a little bit of the Detroit Lions finding out that not long before their game in Green Bay, where they hadn't established that they could win in a couple years ago, and going into Green Bay and knocking them out of the playoffs in their building. Now, they hung around after the game, and it probably upset some of the fans, but we had a lot of fans there too. So, but both coaches on both sides have to have a lot better control of their players. I know there's 53 players, and I know once things go on, you stick up for each other, but there's people without helmets, there's people with helmets, and there's a lot of chance for injury. And you got a lot of people in the stands. So there's police out there trying to tell these young guys not to do stuff. And all I'm saying is each individual player that decided to keep throwing punches and disrespect the officers should pay. And ultimately, the coaches are failing to do their job in so many areas that they should have established that this can never happen. Things could have gotten a lot worse. If this happened in a high school place, guess what happens? The fans, the parents of those kids leave the stands and they get into it. What if all the fans ran on the field? There could be serious deaths in this. So this is a lot more serious than just a football game here, folks. And I'm going back to some of the play calling. Both coaches really showed that they don't know. We need better coaches on both sides. An Ohio State football coach, I'm not calling for his firing just to be entertaining, but if I'm Ohio State fans, they were booing they kept running, and every announcer talked about the same thing. You have injuries to the Wolverines secondary. You have an advantage with your receivers, but they kept failing to do so. I'm really happy that the Michigan Wolverines won. I'm from Michigan, and I root for them, but I'm ashamed and I'm I'm not happy with them going out trying to stick a flag in the middle of their field, and Ohio State's just as wrong for coming in and fighting with them. They could have left the field. Now, Michigan, if somebody's blaming 51% of the blame, I'm saying the Wolverines are at fault more than the Ohio State is. And I'm going to go back to like 6 minutes left in the game. I'm watching this game, and I'm shocked that Ohio State doesn't try to explore the wide receiving. They kept running it, and Michigan's not giving you anything on the run. I'm sorry. Jenkins had one little breakout run for a short bit, got a little mouthy, and didn't do nothing afterwards. Didn't do squat. Now we've got the ball. We just got first and goal on the 4 or 5 yard. I think it was a 4-yard line. Okay, you've got 6 minutes left. You've got no proof that Ohio State can move the football on you. So guess what you're going to do? And they missed 2 field goals. So you know they don't have a great field goal kicker. So you've got 6 minutes to go. Here's what I do as a coach. I run the football. I run the football. I run the football, either forcing them to use timeouts or run at least 2.5 minutes off the clock. I probably will score a touchdown doing that. Bring in Orgy, who's the running back, quarterback, and you have Mullinson. So I believe they can run it in. Worst case scenario, you run 2.5 minutes off running 3 plays, possibly 4. If you're on the 1-inch line, yes, you go for it. But you're at the 2-yard line after 3 runs, you take the field goal. Instead, you take a quarterback, which you've rotated quarterbacks. You've rotated 3 quarterbacks, and Warren's back in there. It's a nice play. He's got a wide open tight end, but he throws a straight line throw, and at number 33, and forgive me for not, I fail. I'm wrong at this. I don't know his name. I should know it, but number 33 made a great play. Came and picked it off. They get the ball. They don't do squat with it. They punt it. And then we take it down. We kick a field goal. 45 seconds left after using all their timeouts. And their coach, when they got that ball at that point with that interception, Ryan May is, I believe, 0-4 against Michigan. I would be shocked if he didn't get fired before their next game. I believe there should be some serious penalties handed out to the coaches of both teams for allowing this to go on. Their Ohio State players shouldn't have ran out there. Okay, and if their coach doesn't have a better control of that team, both sides, then they're missing out. All those players should be suspended. And you know what? Once again, the biggest thing that I want to point out is that when a big brawl like that goes on, all it takes, if one or two guys goes in and get in it, and then everybody else joins in, let's just say that the fans won't do that. And what do you do with the fans? Because they're basically sticking up for their team that's sticking up for their team. Folks, this football game was played during the two halves. And the running back Mullins said it, that should have been where we fought our battles, is in the perimeters of the game. I'm not amused by this one bit. You see Bill Lambiers back there. I love the battles he had. Okay, that's a whole different story. He didn't go. It wasn't the same. It was not exactly the same. You know, you got people that have helmets on, and all that. The police, if police came out on the court and they kept fighting, they're gonna get maced. And they showed some people from some players of Michigan Wolverines that were maced. Hey, you know what? You're in the middle of a brawl and there's police. You want to act like a criminal, you're going to get treated like one. And I wouldn't be surprised that they do a lot of investigations and there's criminal charges pressed on every. You know what? If all those players had to do some jail time because of that, guess what? The next time there's a big brawl, maybe the other. She just jumped over. This is Mary Bell. Yeah, she's a good kid. She's got a little heart on her head. You like that? You want to say anything, kitty? Meow. Oh, you're such a sweet kitty. Yeah. Ah! Stop it. You see this? Anyways, little squirt bottle. But what's your thoughts on this? I mean, I understand some brawls, but there's a certain point where it just got nuts, and it got nuts. And, it's a mob, and, what if somebody died in that? And it's very good, very possible. You look at Myles Garrett, there's a lot of people that, and how he hit Rudolph with his helmet. There's a lot of people without their helmets in that. Somebody either punching them straight on while they had their helmet on, or hitting them with their helmet or headbutting them could kill somebody. And this is the football game is great. I love the outcome of that. But what's your thoughts? I'm going to move to a more positive subject. The Detroit Pistons are in the middle of this NBA Cup where the winners, and Kitty just keeps coming over the top. The winner gets 500 on the winning team gets 500,000 each. Ow! Hey, you need to stop. 500,000 each. So last year, the Indiana Pacers uh, did very well on that. They're a young team that wanted to prove something, and they came up, played very well, and they played the Lakers, uh, and the Lakers end up winning their cup. And a lot of people, all the LeBron haters, say whatever they said, but hey, everybody was playing for that trophy. Wow. And that this cat is getting a little too feisty. Yep, she bit me again. But the Pacers fought hard, and they became a pretty solid playoff team. The Detroit Pistons have suffered for quite a while. They've been lost. And my suggestion was Bill Laimbeer, but hey, they found another solution that seems to be working right now. I still think that Bill Laimbeer would have been the best choice, but that's not the case. So we roll with what we've got. And Langdon, I think, is our general manager. He's got a kind of hard name for me to remember. But Coach JB Bickerstaff has got this team playing so hard, and he's utilizing the guy that I was impressed with in his rookie season. I was impressed with both Jalen Duren and Jaden Ivey. Now, Jalen Duren, because of his size and his capabilities, he was used. But Jaden Ivey was misused by both Monty Williams and also that guy from Toronto. Both heralded as great coaches, but didn't show me squat. I do think that the coach prior to him, and my brain's going dead on me for a second, but it came from over Toronto. I think there was a directive of, and rightfully so, of hey, let's take out the good guys when the game's on the line, so we can make sure we lose the game, play it close or whatever, but make sure we get the worst record so we have the best chance of getting Victor Wembanyama. And I really believe Victor Wembanyama would have been a lot better off for his career with the Pistons with this group than with San Antonio. I watched San Antonio; they're lost. I mean, he's a great talent, but he'll end up signing with somebody else when his contract runs out. If he doesn't, he's missing an opportunity. I mean, I don't know if LeBron will still be playing then, but you join LeBron, join Stephen Curry if he's available. But I understand that part. But last year was a travesty, putting Ivy on the bench. But these guys stepped up. They were 2-0 and playing the Indiana Pacers, a very good team. Halliburton, a bunch of they've got a lot of really good players. And I mean, they're a deep, deep team, and I expect them to be in the playoffs and do well. But the Pistons came in. They went up, they got down, and then they got back up, and they kept playing hard, and they end up winning by about 25 points. And Cade Cunningham impresses me a lot when he's distributing the ball, and then periodically taking his guy, and he's got a lot of tools. Now, if he tries to do that 5, 6, 7, 8 times in a row, that's when I get a little frustrated. But last game when they beat the Pacers, they played exactly like you'd hope that they would. And Jaden Ivey has gotten that 3-point shot going smooth. He's shooting a lot better than ever. And with Cade Cunningham kind of running the show, uh, it's really nice to have both of them because Jaden Ivey can be a point guard, but when he gets in that open court with that ball, I mean, we got a lot of talent on this team. I wish we have one more big guy, and we have um, Jalen Duran is playing really good. Isaiah Stewart is playing his best basketball as a Piston. He's playing hard. He's playing in control. He's not jacking up a ton of threes, but he will make the occasional three. Last couple of years, he shot a lot of threes, and it frustrated me that he didn't. He kept bricking them and then kept shooting them when other people should be shooting them. Sir Thompson's come back the last few games, playing phenomenal. I love the chemistry that this guy has. He's a total team player. Does everything on the court. Um, Kind of in a sense like Scottie Pippen played for the Bulls. Does a little bit of everything. Just does nothing but help the flow of the basketball. Puts it in the right place. Can shoot it. He missed couple 3-pointers in a row, then came back and dropped the third one. I don't think he's our best 3-point shooter, but he's got to take them. And Malik Beasley, man, that first game that I saw, he missed a few shots, and I'm like, what is this guy doing? But that guy is a sharpshooter. He's our best 3-point shooter, and he seems to have a lot of moxie to kind of break people's hearts when they need to be broken. Well, the Wolverines, glad that you won, and I would not be surprised before this weekend is over that Ohio State University decides to let their coach go for 2 reasons. You haven't beaten Michigan, and you didn't have control of your team in that situation. And I also don't think that our coach Moore should be off the hook. It was his team that pushed the envelope way too far, provoked this melee, this brawl. Maybe I'm taking it too serious, maybe I'm not. I like I like the competition where people butt heads. I do. I loved when Bill Ambier said, Michael Jordan, you're not dunking on me. You're going down. You're going to shoot your free throws. You're going to have to work on your outside game. And to Michael Jordan's credit, he did. And to Phil Jackson's credit, he got the ball hog to pass the ball. And Michael Jordan was a ball hog. Wilt Chamberlain pointed out that if Charles Barkley would shoot the same amount of shots as Jordan, he'd be the leading scorer in the NBA. And he's accurate because he shot a better percentage. But Barkley was more of a team player, I believe. He passed the ball a little better. Anyways, you guys have a great day. Those are my thoughts for the day. I will be watching how things unfold. And somehow, at the end, the Detroit Lions, through all their injuries, they're still 11-1. Wasn't a pretty win against Chicago, but you know what? We used to lose those games. Let's not be greedy. They're 11-1. There's a lot of things we need to correct. We have a lot of injuries. We have a starting team on defense. I don't mean to laugh at that, but it just blows me away how great this coaching is that they keep finding ways to push buttons with the players that show up. And here's the thing you can't do. You can't cry about any injuries. That's part of football. I want to go one step further, and I'm not saying this is the reason why there's injuries to the Lions. I'm not whining. But I don't think that it's fair in any direction that one team like the Lions or anybody that had the bye week in week 4 in a 17 game season, expecting to have a team play 13 games in a row and then go in the playoffs. By the grace of God, we get the best record. We get the best record, and we get a bye week going. Not having to play the wild card game. Okay, that's our only way of creating another bye week for ourselves. But think about this: you got a team in week 4 getting a bye week, and then now you got to ask all your players to gut it out for 13 more games straight. Then there's the flip side. There's teams that don't get uh, a bye week till week 11. I don't know the latest week that they have the bye weeks, but I know there's teams that didn't have a bye week till week 11. That's a long stretch as well. It's an unfair advantage either way. And here's the suggestion: you could do it one of two ways. I think the fairest way would be half the league plays on week 8 while the other half has a bye week. Week 9, flip flop. And if you don't think there's enough games for people to watch doing it that way, divide it 8, 9, 10, or 7, 8, 9. That way, the worst difference is 2 different weeks, 2 weeks off. This 4 and 11, it's insane. Roger Goodell, what are you guys thinking? How does that make sense? You're asking a team, that's not promoting the quality of football. The chances of a team having a bye week in 4 and having a healthy team go 13 more weeks and then go into your playoffs, what are you thinking? And let's say I'm rooting for my Lions and they're off week 8. I'm still gonna watch football. So half the teams are shut down for that week. In my proposal of 8, week 8 and week 9, you still have half the teams playing. I'm gonna watch football. I'm gonna watch other teams. You know what? I'm gonna, if you want to do the NFC off on the 8th week and figure that out, and AFC, back when the Lions were stinking and could never get in the playoffs, most of us had to find another team to root for, and a lot of times it was AFC team. So for me it was the Raiders, and then Tom Brady. What are you doing, kitty? What are you doing? What are you doing, kitty? There she is. Hi, kitty. You see yourself? She's a little feisty. I'm going to end the show, go wrestle with this cat for a little bit, wear her out a little bit, throw some catnip mice around, make her chase it. You guys have a great day. Go to church. Love God. Check out my other videos, reading the Bible in a year. As much as I like sports, I love worshiping God even more. 10 times more, 100 times more, 1,000 times more. And you guys be good.